heat in my body run away and stuff like that. So they're trying to isolate me to depopulate the earth, and they can simulate insects walking on your body. Give people hallucinations, and whatever. I'm tired of it all anyway. And I hope there will be a breakthrough for the better for everybody. And at Lidl, my father bought a thing that looks like a spiral of a shower, basically, that you can use to put in the toilet when it's clogged up to free it up, basically. So this is a nice box that I won on eBay cheap. Which means that somebody else didn't win it. It's kind of feminine, where I keep my homegrown stash basically. Let's do this. Do this. Pulverizing it. So don't leave a trail of evidence. It's my tip for you and say, guys, you listeners to my broadcast. Well, perhaps for some others. Mostly NSA, probably. May sound funny. And I wonder if they really thought themselves that they could get away with their cancer chemtrails.
Population reduction. Here is a link to a 1981 article on U.S. population reduction policy by Lomney Wolf for the Executive Intelligence Review. The EIR has been a watchdog over the Global 2000 report by the Club of Rome promoting phony overpopulation statistics. The United Nations has reported fraudulent overpopulation statistics, and the Carter administration reproduced these statistics and fooled an entire generation into believing the world is overpopulated, even as feminism was decimating the populations of Europe, Russia, and the United States. Very few countries today have population growth rates over 2.0, over replacement. Europe's population is declining so rapidly that it must import foreign workers. Russia's population has declined so badly that it stopped sex education programs in the 1950s because Russian women were having too many abortions. The average Russian woman has 8 abortions during her lifetime. Most people are stuck on the idea that overpopulation leads to poverty, but just the opposite is the case. The most heavily populated places in the world are the wealthiest: Hong Kong, New York, London. You get the idea. Cities are heavily populated but enjoy superior economies in terms of average income to rural areas. If you built a single-story apartment building and housed every family in the world in an apartment, the building would occupy a space slightly larger than Texas. All those Chinese peasants who starved to death during the communist famines didn't die because the land wouldn't support them. They died because the communists collectivized the farms and confiscated their production. The Chinese were merely copying the Russian famine model. Communism is the great killer, not overpopulation. Tags. Club of Rome. This entry was posted by Director on Friday, May 28, 2010 at 9:36 a.m. and is filed under Uncategorized. You can follow any responses to this entry through the RSS 2.0 feed. You can leave a response, or track back from your own site. About the author, director, comments. One response to population reduction, Laundry Services says, December 28, 2012 at 11:34 p.m. Some genuinely rattling work on behalf of the owner of this site. Utterly excellent content material. Look up! What in the world are they spraying? Quotes from the population controllers. Since its inception, the UN has advanced a worldwide program of population control, scientific human breeding, and Darwinism. Claire Chambers, The Seeker's Circle, A Humanist Revolution. The present vast overpopulation, now far beyond the world carrying capacity, cannot be answered by future reductions in the birth rate due to contraception, sterilization and abortion, but must be met in the present by the reduction of numbers presently existing. This must be done by whatever means necessary. Eco 92 Earth Charter. The United Nations goal is to reduce population selectively by encouraging abortion, forced sterilization, and control of human reproduction, and regards 2/3 of the human population as excess baggage, with 350,000 people to be eliminated per day. Jacques Cousteau. Childbearing should be a punishable crime against society, unless the parents hold a government license. All potential parents should be required to use contraceptive chemicals, the government issuing antidotes to citizens chosen for childbearing. David Brower, Executive Director of the Sierra Club. If radical environmentalists were to invent a disease to bring human populations back to sanity, it would probably be something like AIDS. It has the potential to end industrialism, which is the main force behind the environmental crises. Earth First. At present the population of the world is increasing at about 58,000 per diem. War, so far, has had no very great effect on this increase, which continued throughout each of the world wars. War has hitherto been disappointing in this respect, but perhaps bacteriological war may prove effective. If a Black Death could spread throughout the world once in every generation, survivors could procreate freely without making the world too full. The state of affairs might be unpleasant, but what of it? Bertrand Russell. The impact of science on society. The first task is population control at home. How do we go about it? Many of my colleagues feel that some sort of compulsory birth regulation would be necessary to achieve such control. One plan often mentioned involves the addition of temporary sterilants to water supplies or staple food. Doses of the antidote would be carefully rationed by the government to produce the desired population size. Paul Ehrlich. The population bomb, a total population of 250 to 300 million people, a 95% decline from present levels, would be ideal. Ted Turner, CNN founder and supporter of UN. If I were reincarnated I would wish to be returned to Earth as a killer virus to lower human population levels. Prince Philip. In searching for a new enemy to unite us, we came up with the idea that pollution, the threat of global warming, water shortages, famine and the like would fit the bill. All these dangers are caused by human intervention, and it is only through changed attitudes and behavior that they can be overcome. The real enemy, then, is humanity itself. Alexander King and Bertrand Schneider, Club of Rome. Let's stop telling anyone that they have a generally inferior genetic quality, for they will never agree. Let's base our proposals on the desirability of having children born in homes where they will get affectionate and responsible care, and perhaps our proposals will be accepted. Frederick Osborne, Galton Lecture 1956, in Eugenics Review, Volume 48, 1, 1956. There are many ways to make the death rate increase. Robert McNamara, New Solidarity, March 30, 1981, to bring about depopulation of large cities according to the trial run carried out by the Pol Pot regime in Cambodia. It is interesting to note that Pol Pot's genocidal plans were drawn up in the U.S. by one of the Club of Rome's research foundations, and overseen by Thomas Enders, a high-ranking State Department official. It is also interesting that the committee is currently seeking to reinstate the Pol Pot butchers in Cambodia, to cause by means of limited wars in the advanced countries, by means of starvation and diseases in the third world countries, the death of 3 billion people by the year 2050, people they call useless eaters. The Committee of 300, Illuminati, commissioned Cyrus Vance to write a paper on this subject of how to bring about such genocide. The paper was produced under the title Global 2000 Report and was accepted and approved for action by former President James Earl Carter and Edwin Muskie, then Secretary of State, Foreign, on behalf of the U.S. government. Under the terms of the Global 2000 Report, the population of the U.S. is to be reduced by 100 million by the year of 2050, to encourage and eventually legalize the use of drugs and make pornography an art form, which will be widely accepted and, eventually, become quite commonplace. Targets of the Illuminati and the Committee of 300 by Drive John Coleman, more population reduction quotes. Population reduction quotes from 2009. Tags, population reduction quotes. This entry was posted by Director on Sunday, July 28, 2013 at 4:26 p.m. and is filed under Uncategorized. You can follow any responses to this entry through the RSS 2.0 feed. You can leave a response, or track back from your own site. About the author, director, comments, 7 responses to quotes from the population controllers. Robbo says, July 29, 2015 at 8:25 a.m., this is what evil plans. Mass killing, disease, poverty and misery. If China holds on a billion, so Earth may carry more than 20 billion individual. The American ruling class, page 185 says, October 17, 2014 at 2:30 p.m., have been vaccinated as a preventive measure, which would make perfect sense. We already know, from their own words, that the prime objective of the ruling class elite is a massive population reduction, and what? Website marketing says, October 4, 2014 at 6:13 p.m., howdy! Would you mind if I share your blog with my Zingler group? There's a lot of folks that I think would really appreciate your content. Please let me know. Cheers. Sure. Dragon Lady says, October 27, 2013 at 4:05 p.m., I believe the world does have a population issue. First, wherever man is overwhelmed, his need to contend and defend is inherent but proves to be an undesirable and non-sociable trait. Second, man's desire to be immortal or afraid of death motivates his desire to reproduce in order to survive or give meaning to personal life conquest. If too many people exist, then by logical deduction mankind who is weak, fear-driven, will fight for goods against others and deplete more than what is created. He will go after natural resources, that of which does not belong to him. Third, the ego, competitive nature, and the natural instincts of the negative side of man's mind become dominant and imbalanced, opposing that of love, compassion, kindness, and above all an acceptance of happiness. The list of supporting reasons as to why the population currently existing is disappointing can be an exhausting list. Yes, it is sad to say many will be required to die and suffer, and many fight against the idea of depopulation for fear of their own death. But if man can be unbiased and accept this issue, then we can peacefully find a solution together. For now, I can only suggest the obvious, since man is very contentious and would fight against man trying to decide who will survive and who will die. We must find something more palatable. Man weeps over nature's selection. He goes crazy over man's. Until we have a more controllable mass, biological or chemical is the only acceptable form of depopulation. So let cancer, flu, toxin, and other diseases spread so that it may perish all those who are weak and undisciplined in health, so we may let natural selection work for us. Later, we can learn what traits are desirable, and see the benefits of a smaller society that brings about peace and is in balance with nature, so we as a world nation can agree on the timing and quality of reproduction that respects all life on the planet. Until then, man will always be fighting to keep with the Joneses, not appreciate the simple natural pleasures in life, hate and mistrust his neighbors, and forever be in the pursuit of happiness. We should think about all life, not just our own. Maybe then we may look upon what the agenda is aiming for with more reasonable minds. To fight it will not change it. To be on board with the end goal will lead us to help in the process in a way that we can support. Mass murder leads to peace, love and happiness? Dragon Lady, you will fall for anything. Who exactly is it that is bothering you now that you need to kill them? Or did you just fall for some number? Seo says, August 28, 2013 at 8 p.m. Very good post. Would like more. Diditrus Loco says, August 27, 2013 at 5:53 p.m. Great blog post. It's valuable information. Ergotech Plus Folding Reacher says, August 5, 2013 at 6:59 p.m. Regarding reading the OP's blog post, a number will resonate with this as it's what we actually believe, and it's nifty spotting a person that's showing it on the net to look at.
I'm back. You gotta have dope, otherwise life is unbearable. What some people call the holy herb. And the question is also, how will this timeline develop? Now the information is online about the voice of God weapon, people really doing it, and I'm not getting funded by anyone or paid. So there's lots of these people you can ask. Key bono, who benefits, and are they controlled opposition or the real thing? I like guarana cola with mineral water, and I wouldn't drink Pepsi with fetal tissue. If I can Google Pepsi feed.